Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show here on Channel 1 Television. On The Point of View, we pick the right topics, get the right guests, and ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. It's a busy week in Parliament. Monday today begins with the vetting of the nominee for Chief Justice. That's been going on for the better part of today. Later in the week, Finance Minister Kazilato Forson will present his budget. That's on Thursday. But for the past few months, the Public Accounts Committee has been holding high-profile hearings on Ghana's public accounts, working with previous Auditor General's reports. My guest is a woman who's endeared herself to some, but also annoyed a few. She's the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee for this 9th Parliament, and also Member of Parliament for Etiwa East, the Honourable Abena Osei Asari. She's going to talk to us about their work they've been doing, together with her deputy and a few other people in the committee. What really are they trying to achieve with these questions they ask? And how much money can they retrieve for the taxpayer? Looking at all the infractions that the Auditor General's reports bring to us. All these and more when we come back. Stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. No more endless worry because of malaria. Fight malaria back with Vegetem. Vegetem is effective, safe, and fast-acting against malaria. Vegetem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegetem is also available in suspension for children. Vegetem, tough on malaria, easy on you.
When you buy, you build. Your purchase becomes progress. Each choice writes a better story for someone else.
Afro-quality. Buy African, build Africa.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or being late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Go be the luckiest, Kofi from Georgia be luckiest, from not the block she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest, everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your goddamn boom. If you put it away, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. So tonight, my guest is the Honourable Abena Osei Asari. She is the Member of Parliament for Etiwa East, but also the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, taking over from James Kluche Aveji. Welcome. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening to you, and good evening to your audience as well.
How are you doing?
I'm well. And,
you are well.
I hope you are too.
Parliament is everywhere. The whole day we've been watching the vetting of the CJ. This week we are coming back there for vetting, but I think for the budget. But for the past month or so, it's your committee that has been the main attraction. Is that the only committee that's been working?
No, other committees are also working.
Okay.
But, because of what we do, I think we are out there. The local government committee is also out there, and a couple of other committees are also working.
So how did you become the chair? I mean, was it something you chose? Was it something they conferred? How did you become the chair of the committee?
One, we know that with the committee chairs, they are done by the party and leadership of the respective parties or respective caucuses. And so my caucus chose me to head the Public Accounts Committee. Yes, and to serve in that capacity. And
it was something you wanted to do?
It is something, one, I want to do, and two, I'm qualified to do it as well. So,
when we were in the university, you did economics?
Yes, I did.
But you're also a chartered accountant?
Yes.
So which one do you identify yourself with more?
Yes, my first degree was economics with geography. And while I was in the university, I also started...
Oh, so you minored in geography?
Yes.
And then you also chatted whilst you were on campus?
No, I started the exam. I started writing the exam while I was on campus. And then when I completed the university, I think within 2 years, I chatted. Yeah.
Did you actually practice with your accounting?
Yes, my first job was at New York University in Ghana. It's a study abroad site for the main New York University. And there I was the assistant director in charge of finance and facilities. So I got the opportunity to also practice it.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So when you became deputy finance minister in 2017?
Yes, in 2017.
Because at the time, you know, usually they talk about the mix of competences. Some people are economics, some are finance. I think Setepa was an accountant, just like you. So within that group, the first group, you were the main accountant, right?
Yes, I was a chartered accountant, and also I had a degree in economics and also a master's in finance development.
Okay, because your boss is a banker.
Yes.
And then I think Charles Edubuahin
was also a banker. I also moved to the bank eventually before coming into mainstream.
Oh, you worked in banking too?
Yes.
So you have economics, you have finance, you have accounting and banking all in one. Interesting. You became the Minister of State at some point, right?
Yes, in 2024.
Okay.
Yes, when Finance Minister left and the Minister of State, which was Honorable Amin Adams, was made the Finance Minister. Yes, and I was promoted to the Minister of State.
So what is the Public Account Committee's job? What do you guys try and do?
You know, it is enshrined in the Constitution that the Auditor General, Article 187, the Auditor General will have to prepare reports of government expenditure, the monies that have been voted by Parliament for the ministries, departments, and agencies to spend. And then thereafter, they will have to account for it to see whether it was utilized in an efficient manner. And so that is what the Auditor General does. And when the Auditor General gets the reports to Parliament, as it's supposed to be, then it is referred to the Public Accounts Committee. So what we do is to scrutinize, clarify, and find out why certain infractions have been made and what we can do where it boils down to the loss of money, retrieval of money. Then we also assist the state to recover such funding, or where we have to put checks and balances in place to tighten internal controls. We also recommend and we send it to the floor of Parliament for adoption.
So what year's audit? So is it the Auditor General's report you are using?
Yes.
Is it like the General Auditor General's report or the specific ones?
No, the Auditor General can't come up with any report at all. Some are performance audit reports, and some are the regular reports where the Auditor General looks at the whole of government accounts for the year, and in terms of the Controller and Accountant General's books, and that involves all the funding that is paid, that is utilized by government. And some also are specific to the ministries, departments, and agencies. And that has to do with the budget that has been voted for these agencies by Parliament. And some also are, like I said, audit performance reports, where they want to see, a typical example was the COVID-19 reports. Yes, so when the Auditor General, for any reason, feels that it has to go into one particular item or the other that public funds have been voted for, yes, they have the right to do so.
So this current sitting is for the 2023-24 fiscal year?
Some are for 2023-2020, but it's mainly 2024. But for the performance audit reports, it spans 2-3 years, and some 2020 from 2022 to 2024, and so
you are doing both concurrently?
Yes.
I see, because I notice you invite sometimes heads of ministries, departments and agencies, and sometimes you invite the minister to come along. Why do you have to add the ministers?
You know that the ministries, departments and agencies, we have the principal spending officer, which is the chief director, and the technical people. And then we have the one who makes policy. That's the political head. And so once you make policy, you also need to come with the principal spending officer, because after you have done the policy, it is the principal spending officer that will help implement whatever policies that have been put in place. So together, you are in a better position to give us clarity on anything at all that you have been cited for. And that is why consistently we invite not just the technical people, but the policymaker as well to help us understand.
So is it every entity audited in the report that you invite?
Yes, once you have been audited. There are some, a typical example is for that of the public boards and state institutions. There are some, it's just their accounts, their financial performance, their financial position that they are being cited for. And then so you come for clarification, and then where there is a need for an advice or anything, we also let you know.
I see. Because I've seen, for example, a number of ministers. I saw Health Minister Komna Akando.
Yes.
Spend a bit of time there. And he stays for different entities under him.
Yes, because you know, the ministries are not made up of just the ministers, but there are other agencies. So for the health ministry, you have Ghana Health Service, you have National Health Insurance Authority, you have a couple of others. So once they are all cited, and the teaching hospitals, that's when you saw a number of the teaching hospitals also coming in. And so once they are all cited, you, the policy maker, will have to come with the principal spending officers.
So what is the committee's objective? Is it to say, because obviously the auditor has written his opinion,
yes,
and he has also concluded whether a finding is material or not.
Yes.
So are you validating what he did? Are you getting clarification? I just want to understand the role of Parliament in the audit process.
Yeah, the role of Parliament is enshrined in the Constitution. Yeah, the Constitution says it has to be brought to Parliament, and Parliament will have to refer it to a committee. Then the committee will look at it and then come up with recommendations. And so one is enshrined in the Constitution, so that is what we do. And then two, I believe that for whatever reason, once somebody has been cited, you need to give the person a fair hearing, at least hear their side of the story. And also, it's not just to hear your side, but since then, what steps have you taken to make sure you address this particular infraction that you have been cited for, so that moving forward, it does not occur? Because some of them involves the loss of money, some of them involves the breakdown of processes and systems. And so we want to check these things, and that is why we invite them to come, give us clarification, and also they should tell us what they have been able to do to make sure such infractions do not occur.
Some people criticize the work of your committee as almost needless. Some people think the horse has already bolted because these people are being audited a year after they've left, or they are being made to account. Indeed, there's an article written by journalist Manasseh Azuri Awuni, and I'll just read a paragraph. He basically launched a critique of the PSC, questioning both its credibility and its relevance in ensuring financial accountability in public office. In a social media post, accompanied by a photo of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and John Kuma and the current chairperson Abena Osei-Asare, Manasseh described the committee's work as, quote, a nuisance drama, unquote, that had lost its purpose. I'm not sure if you've seen this article.
No.
What do you make of a description by a respected journalist that your work is nuisance drama? He goes on to explain, I don't have time to go through all, but he questioned the PSC's overall impact, stating that despite its televised sessions and public attention, the committee has failed to bring about any tangible results or systemic accountability. Let me quote him. PAC has not proved to be useful, besides wasting public funds and raising our emotional temperatures about the malfeasance the Auditor General uncovers. And then he also, of course, criticized the fact that you were Deputy Finance Minister at some point. But let's even deal with the substantive issue of the committee raising our temperature and then not recovering any money. What's your reaction to that?
You know, most people don't really understand the work that we do. We are not there to raise temperatures. We are not there to bite anybody. But we are there fulfilling a constitutional mandate in the first place. And Bernard, in every organization, it's at the end of the year that they take stock of their financial issues, their financial position, their financial performance. And so it is in that same vein that at the end of the year, the Auditor General is mandated to go through your books and make sure that every penny that you were, or every peswa that or cedi that was voted for you was utilized in an efficient manner and to address the needs of the people. And so if you really understand, you will know that it is only at the end of the year that the Auditor General can do this. And once they do this and then they also submit the reports to Parliament, it gives all of us an opportunity to look at it. It's based on some of these infractions that the government felt that it had to come up with a public financial management law to guide us.
Act 921.
And that is what birthed the Public Financial Management Act 91.
PFMA.
Yes.
But Manasseh's point, and let me give you an example. He says, citing an example, Manasseh recalled how a previous PAC, chaired by James Saveji, directed metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to halt questionable fumigation contracts with waste management companies whom Lion. However, these same contracts were later renewed and even extended from 2 to 5 years. He noted, underscoring what he describes as the toothless nature of the committee.
Okay. Bernard, we want to go beyond that. And as going beyond that, what can we do to make sure that really our recommendations are carried out? And as one of the steps that this current committee, Public Accounts Committee, wants to do is to peg your the fulfillment of your recommendations to the approval of your budget. So that if we all agree, it is one of the recommendations that we are going to table to the floor of Parliament. So that if we all agree that these are the infractions that have been cited against you, we engaged you, and based on the engagement, we are coming out with these recommendations that you ought to address, adopt and address. So failure to do that, we are suggesting that Parliament should not approve your budget until it is done. And we believe it will take the accountability, a step further.
Does the Ministry of Finance agree with this, your recommendation?
So I've said this is one of the proposals that we're going to send to the floor. Yes.
So this particular
particular pack, because as part of our rounding up and end of program message, that was one of the proposals we put on the table, that we believe that if we peg the recommendations to your approval, your budget approval, I believe it will go a long way to check, one, the repetition of these infractions, and two, to also reduce it to, the barest minimum. And
are you okay? Fair enough. So that's one.
Yes.
Are you able to recover any money? Because again, I do know that the Auditor General himself has the power to disallow an expenditure. So maybe I made an expenditure which was off budget. He can disallow it, and I have to essentially either pay it back or receive it from the person who take it from the person who it was paid to. So that's already the Auditor General's authority. What authority do you have? And within your committee, are you able to do anything? Can you recover any money? Can you do anything for us?
Bernard, there have been instances where the mere fact that they have been agencies, departments and ministries have been cited, they quickly go and do the needful. You hear, on TV that yes, we've had to clear this infraction. When was this infraction cleared? Sometimes they tell you the day before, because they know, they are coming or they are appearing before Public Accounts Committee. But as we speak, I know Public Accounts Committee with the Auditor General have done some recoveries. And yes, there's a report of was it 12 billion that over a period that the Auditor General together with the Public Accounts Committee have been able
12 billion cedis.
Yes, and there's a report to that effect.
Maybe you can share with us. I would like to know whether it's just this past financial year.
No, I said over time.
Over a longer period.
Over time.
12 billion cedis in misappropriated state funds.
No, not
that has been recovered
in funds that have been recovered. You know, the funds are placed into various categories. Some are misappropriated funds, some are procurement issues, some are tax irregularities. And so, so
misappropriated funds,
tax irregularities, procurement issues, and a couple of
and there's also irregularities that you put. Okay, interesting.
So when you put all together, that is what I mean. So there are various categories.
Let's deal with the second issue. The second issue has to do not with the committee but with you. So Kwame Asare-Obeng has basically said you don't have the moral right to be chair of this committee because a lot of the work being scrutinized happened under your tenure, particularly because you're deputy finance minister. In fact, some of the institutions, by reason of your position, you're either a board chair or a member of those boards. Deputy finance minister has a statutory role on some boards. So he feels like you were to be the one to supervise. And don't forget, when the state interest and governance accountability arrangement was put together, the finance ministry is almost like the supervisor of the financial performance of a lot of these organizations. So in a sense, these are people you oversaw who did all these infractions. Why are you now the one chairing a committee to review their work as if you're not part of it? That's basically the problem.
Okay. And let me just correct that SIGA was under the office of the president at that time.
Okay.
And so, yes, they were supposed to manage the state-owned enterprises.
Okay.
But I must say that, there's neither conflict of interest in any way, because the Public Accounts Committee, one, is always chaired by member from the opposition. And then two, we have taken steps. When I say we, as in Parliament, has taken steps to curb some of these things. And that is why in Order 2294 of our standing orders, it says that when issues or reports from the Auditor General pertains to the year in which the chairperson was in government, that proceedings will be taken over by the ranking. So consistently, you see me announcing that this pertains to a 2024 report for which I was in government. So I am ceding the chairperson, the chairmanship role to my ranking. And
which is why I think for the ECG one,
no, for all the reports.
All the reports
we are looking at reports that pertain to when I was in government.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. So when you're in government, you can't be the one to scrutinize because.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because consistently, we want to promote fairness, we want to promote proper accountability and transparency, and so Parliament has already taken care of that. And once you check,
but isn't there a fear that you can interfere? So I agree with that. So the point is, you will not chair the proceeding, but you can influence the report, can't you? So I'm trying to stretch it. They're saying, fine, you were there when this crime occurred. It was a crime. You are saying, when that matter is being discussed, my ranking is the one chairing. But the overall report can be influenced by the chair.
Infractions that we deem as a crime, we refer it to the Auditor General, like procurement issues. So and we do not sit there to pronounce as to whether this is a crime or not. It is the reports or the recommendations of the Auditor General. And then based on that, we make references to the AG for prosecution where we feel it has to do with procurement issues. But so that is it. And for that one, nobody can influence it. We look at it with the bipartisan eyes. We all discuss and then we say, this is what we want to do. And we go ahead and do it.
So morally, you don't see any problem with chairing a committee to review the work of a previous administration that you were part of? You don't see a moral issue there?
This is something that has consistently gone on. In 2017, the chairperson for the Public Accounts Committee saw to the reports that pertained to when their government was in power. And by this time, he was the chair.
But he wasn't a minister.
But he was the chair.
James Abeji was not a minister under
it doesn't matter whether you are a minister or not. What matters most is what you set out to do. Yes.
Let's take a breather. When we come back, I'll show some highlights. I think there have been some interesting moments from this Public Accounts Committee. We'll watch it together and she'll explain what she was trying to do there. And then in the next bit of the interview, we'll talk a bit about the budget that the man who used to be her opposite number is now in the main driving seat. Kasela Tufo, since presenting the budget on Thursday. We'll talk about that, to stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. No more endless worry because of malaria. Fight malaria back with Vegetem. Vegetem is effective, safe and fast-acting against malaria. Vegetem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegetem is also available in suspension for children. Vegetem, tough on malaria, easy on you.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
God, Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it was a so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. Our guest is the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, the Honorable MP for Etiwa East, Abena Osiasari. We're just talking about the work of the committee and some of the issues that have come up. As I said, MP for Goma Central A+ had petitioned the Speaker to remove her as chair because he felt she had a moral challenge with her previous position. The MP for Mpraeso David Sopoku strongly rebutted those claims and says our standing orders don't disqualify her, and I think she's explained that here as well. Now, I just wanted to show some highlights. Samuel George versus Abena Osiasari, part 1.
Mr. Chairman, the answer is very simple in one word: the mismanagement of the economy by the Akufo-Addo administration. Because a lot of the increases, Ghana Post pays a lot of airlines for the transporting of the parcels that we send to Europe and the United States, and we pay that in dollars. So when you saw the mismanagement when Ken Oforiatta, Abena, and co were at the finance ministry, and Dr. Baumia in charge of the economic management team, you then saw that...
Respect me, Minister. Stop it right there. Just go straight to your question and answer, and don't be name calling. You understand? Minister, please answer the question. Oh, when this was there, Oh, Minister, I don't think that is how we should be here. You are here. You have been here before. I have been where you are before.
I'm guided,
Let's just
Chairman.
Go straight to the point.
I'm guided, Chairman.
Thank you.
So in 2023, when the CD depreciated, you realize that because we're paying in dollars, if you were paying a fee of $100 to an airline, and the exchange rate was 8, our expenditure would have been 800 cedis. And then when it went to 16 in 2023, you then have the challenge that your expenditure now becomes 1,600. So that's what accounted for that. So is the forex loss.
So that was you and Samuel George. What entity were you discussing?
It was Ghana Post.
Was it some losses they made?
Yes, that particular year they made a deficit. And I was telling him that it's not just about what he's explaining. Usually they hide behind some of these things. But when you break down, you ask them for a line-by-line item of their administrative expenditure. That is where you see so many things.
So it was a question you had asked?
Yes.
And in the answer, he decided to add your name and that of your former boss.
You know, Sam George is a very mischievous person.
But credit to him, he sort of changed track when he didn't confront you. So that was a bit easier. Let's go to Minta Kando as well. So by the way, this was resolved, right?
Yes.
After this, there was no wahala anymore?
No. I just drew his attention to the fact that he should look at the other line items and see where they are overspending. And then they can also work on that to reduce the expense.
Because he wanted to blame the financial management.
That is just one item. Their expenditure is made up of several line items.
So maybe those losses were FX related, but okay. Yeah. Let's do the health minister. I think I don't know whether they came with the NHIS, but this is Kwamina Kando and you.
But we have to deal with this emergency situation. So what we have done is that we are rolling out the software. We have a 4-week plan. We are doing the piloting. All other agencies are on board. Medical superintendents are on board. CEOs of the various agencies who are interested parties are on board. AG on board. Yoko on board. NITA on board. All other cybersecurity, everybody is on board. Where we have to retrieve what belongs to the state, the appropriate agencies will deal with that. For now, the ministry's target aim is to look at how we can get out of this mess, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Minister, you see the platform I gave initially, you were reluctant to respond. But you see, this platform is for free. You are not paying any money, you are not paying for any item 13 because, it is here and we are taking care of all that. Yes.
You know you are Abena and I'm Kwabena. You are Abena and I'm Kwabena.
Minister, there's one thing you mentioned that the former minister said, the vendor has been overpaid and it's in I
have a write-up.
We will ask for you to provide, but it's just a word of caution that as you said, you needed to get a vendor to bring about solutions to the issues you were facing. Please take note that it's today, it's immediate, you needed to do something. When COVID came in 2020, we needed to do something quickly. At that time, everybody saw the urgency, the need to sort of cut short some steps and then get to solutions. Today, it may be the same thing, but I'm only urging you to be very cautious because today we understand we are in it. We need that data because what is the use if you can't have your previous history when a doctor needs to take care of you? But tomorrow, after the problem or the solution has been found, nobody will remember that it was urgent and so you needed.
So what was going on there?
It had to do with the software that they needed to retrieve patients' data. The minister said patients were suffering, they go to the hospitals, they don't have access to their data because the previous vendor, they were having issues with the previous vendor and so they've had to cancel the contract with the previous vendor. And quickly they have taken steps to get a new vendor to fill in that gap and help them retrieve patients' history.
So this is the LHIMS?
Yes.
Lightwave Health Information Management System.
Yes, and so they've gone ahead to procure a new one. So I was just cautioning him because we've seen it before. During COVID, we had to cut down a lot of processes to help us speed up the provision of essential drugs, equipment, and other equally important things. Right after that, there's a report on the COVID-19 issues, and several infractions were cited for bypassing processes.
In the name of speed? In the name of speed,
in the name of saving lives. And so I was just cautioning him that whatever it is that he's doing, he should take the necessary steps to cover up and to make sure everything goes according to the procurement law or what the law is. So that tomorrow, when we are all happy and fine and we don't see this as an urgent need again, nobody will come back and tell him that you did not follow due process and so you should be prosecuted for one thing.
So this ended on a good note?
Yes. This was just a word of advice to him.
The other one looks like Rumble in the Jungle. This was DVLA versus Abena Osiasari. This one didn't look like it ended well. And I suspect you're even upset. Maybe you should show it to us.
Here is the details that is going to go on there because they are people's personalities. So what kind of details are you going to put on
the number plate?
You said it's going to come with a lot of security details. Yes. And I'm asking that a number plate, let's say Rankin's number plate, you're saying that it will be equipped with security features such that if the police should scan, they'll know that truly it belongs to ranking.
Yeah.
So what, because in putting out somebody's security out there, someone, I mean, a bad person can also get hold of that. So that is why I'm asking, what kind of information are you going to put?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. We have data protection law, so we'll be compliant with that law. Currently, what we have is just going to be the same form, but now in a digitalized form, not going to be the paper form anymore. So we are not going to move away from the information.
And it's not going to have the user's surname on the.
It depends on
the number plates.
It depends on what the law says. We'll go by.
You don't tell me depends on what the law says. You are doing it, so you should be able to tell us that the law says ABC. I'm asking you a specific question. Is it going to have the user's surname on the number plates?
We don't put names on number plates.
I asked a specific question. You said no. We are not going to put. Yes.
I was wondering why that question. Sorry, but we don't put names on number plates. That's why.
You were wondering why that question?
Because we don't put names on number plates.
What are you telling me? People pay to have their names on number plates, and you sit here as a DVLA boss. You tell me you don't put numbers on number plates. Haven't you seen specialized numbers with people's surnames and personalized names on number plates? But yes or no, please.
Yes.
So why are you telling me you don't put names on number plates?
So I can explain that.
Not that you can explain that. You don't expect me to ask you that question. That is what you said. You don't expect me to ask you that question because people do not put their number plates, their names on their number plates. That is a blatant lie. You have people who pay for specialized number plates and they have their surname. I'm asking you. You just mentioned that there are going to be security features. And I'm asking, is that going to include people's names on that plate? And I said, you don't expect me to ask you that question. Are you not the DVLA boss?
Maybe you should host a show. You'll be a very powerful host, Pao. Because the way you open your eyes and ask the question, if I was sitting, I'm very afraid. You are very angry, eh?
I wasn't angry, but you know, when you are given positions, you have to live up to those positions. You came, you told us you were doing ABCD, especially in with reference to the number plates. You are coming up with new security features. So then we want to, because when we sit there, it is not for Abner's, purview that we sit there, or not for rankings only, but for the people of Ghana. They've heard a lot about the kind of innovations that DVLA is bringing, the new CEO is bringing to bear in that office. And so we give you that opportunity to tell Ghanaians what is it that you want to do. And we gave him that opportunity and he chose to,
you sounded angry, even when the answer he said, when he said he will find out what the law says or something to that nature.
Because you are advising us, you are telling us that this is what you are going to do. You should have known what the law says. Then otherwise, why are you encouraging or telling us that we are going to have a new number plate? Is it now that you are, after you have done that, you're going to find out what the law says about that? When we sit there, it's about the people of Ghana, and sometimes we echo their concerns. So when we give you that opportunity to share what you do with the people of Ghana, it is not Abner asking, neither is it ranking asking, but people of Ghana need answers.
Did it go down well? Did he? Because this is, how did it end? I didn't watch the full thing. Did you smoke the peace pipe?
I gave him the opportunity to answer, and he chose to answer it the way he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. There was one that a lot of us in the public were very impressed with in relation to the ECG and how the ranking member linked the infraction to the demand for higher tariffs. And I think I need to show this. For some reason, you are not the one asking the question, but you were there with your ranking, right? Let's just watch that. This is ECG.
Another one, you said cleaning expenses. 2.8 million, that was your budget. But ECG spent 10.4. How many suits did you clean for that? Now, honorarium expenses, 3.8, but you spent 4.6. Hotel expenses, 9.3 million was your budget, but you spent 12.2. Staff fuel. Hey, did they drive around the world? Budget was 2.8, and you spent 3.6 million. Communication expenses, ECG. Their budget was 4.2, but you spent 7.9 million. Consultancy, budget was 40 million, but you spent 58.6 million. All these you did it on your own without even board approval. Industrial relations, your budget was 2 million, but you spent 13 million. Stakeholders' expenses, your budget was 3.1 million, and you spent 49 million. And you want to increase our tariffs.
Yeah, that's shocking, actually.
Yes, well, I remember I gave that block figure of the confirmed budget of 144 million Ghana cedis. They ended up doing a little over 300 million Ghana cedis. So the excess was 189 million Ghana cedis.
Wow.
And so that was the breakdown of the 189 million Ghana cedis.
This is 2023-24.
Yes.
ECG.
Yes.
So even the ranking and yourself did not think they deserved the...
No, so we felt that if they should clean their house, because the reason why they claim they are increasing tariffs is because they are not raising enough revenue to enable them pay their IPP, the independent power producers, and also take care of other equally important things. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg. There was another where they had collected 11 point something billion, a little over, yes, about 11.9 billion in the cash waterfall mechanism accounts. The cash waterfall mechanism accounts is the accounts where they collect all the revenues and put it in there, and then they pay the IPPs, the independent power producers, so that if you are able to pay them, government through Ministry of Finance will not have to subsidize.
Wow.
Yes. And so all these, I mean, they are huge.
So did you recommend for something beyond saying you didn't think the tariff increase was? Because that's not even a platform for tariff.
There was one procurement infraction. And our committee has put measures in place such that if it's a procurement infraction, we will refer you straight away to the Attorney General. There was one procurement infraction of about 75 million Ghana cedis, where they went ahead without going through the procurement process to award and pay a contract to that tune. And so that's
so the committee referred that to the Auditor General?
To the AG.
Attorney General.
Yes.
By the way, the person sitting in that chair was not ECG MD when this happened?
Bernard, most of the people we see, most of the people who come in there are not people who were there when these infractions were created or occurred. One.
So why don't you invite the person who was there?
So there, I'm coming to that. If for one reason or the other you feel that they will have to come, once you draw our attention to it, the Public Accounts Committee, you know, we have the powers of the High Court. We can also summon them to appear before us. And to also
so former appointees can be summoned?
Yes, to make their submission on an infraction that and they have been cited for in the Auditor General's report. But I believe that in that same vein, when you inherit an office, you inherit both the liabilities and the assets. There are a couple of CEOs and Director Generals who discharged themselves very well, even though they were not there when all these infractions took place. I mean, they showed us the steps that they had taken and to make sure they mitigate those infractions, and for some of them, take it off their books completely.
Wow.
A typical example was the CEO for Minerals Investments, MIF.
The lady?
Madam Nelson. I had to commend her. There was another one doctor from the Northern Development Authority. I mean, I was so impressed. He had just assumed the role, I mean, was it 2 or 3 months ago? But then he had taken steps that, yes, I wasn't there when all these things occurred, but this is what I have done. and I want you to support me to make sure I clean my books. And there are others who also kept consistently saying that, well, make sure you let everybody know that I wasn't there when it happened. I wasn't there when it happened. So I haven't bothered.
But on this ECG matter of spending over 180 million beyond budget, shouldn't the committee be prosecuting or recommending prosecution?
We will recommend that and take it to the floor of Parliament for adoption.
Okay.
So that is what.
So if the plenary agrees.
Yes, and then yes.
But as a committee, you will recommend prosecution?
Certainly, this is not the only infraction, serious infraction. There are a couple of infractions that we feel should go beyond just recommendations of bringing it back, but recommendations of seeing to it that whoever caused this infraction, must be called to answer. Everybody has to be accountable. We should all know that when we are put in positions, we ought to account when the need arises. We ought to account to our people and what was placed in our hands.
This is the point of view. My guest is Abna Saris. She's the former Minister of State and Minister of Finance, former Deputy Minister, now Chair of the Public Accounts Committee. When we come back, we'll talk about the budget. Atufosin reads his budget in 3 days. Where is the economy? What is she expecting? Stay with us.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winner, President and Chair of the Board of the Trade Finance Bank of Africa, Afri-Exim Bank, Professor Benedict O. Rama.
In navigating financial challenges in our region for sustainable development, when we look at challenges, we also know that challenge is one side of a coin. You have challenges, we also have opportunities. And that is why Afri-Exim Bank has grown the fastest in times of crisis.
I also thank organizers for considering me worthy of this prestigious award, which I will cherish all through my life.
The Africa Prosperity Champions Awards APCA and Presidential Gala Dinner unites visionaries from heads of state, business leaders, social change makers to innovators to celebrate African excellence in order to encourage a new generation of leaders. More than an awards ceremony, this event declares that Africa's narrative is one of triumph and prosperity. We celebrate a new story where African solutions guide us forward. Each honor exemplifies the vast potential of our continent. The 4th edition of the Africa Prosperity Champions Awards and Presidential Gala Dinner takes place on February 6, 2026 at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel in Accra, Ghana. To attend, you may contact +233 536 098325 or send an email to protocol@africaprosperity.network. You may also visit africaprosperitynetwork.com for your tickets now.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late? Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
God Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. So we're talking to the Honorable Abena Osei-Asare. Let's not forget that beyond Public Accounts Committee, she was also a deputy minister in the previous administration. Some people blame that administration, particularly the finance ministry, indeed MPP people, for the loss of the party at the election, because they said that the way your boss, and then of course all of you in that team, managed the economy was not the best. So they give examples: inflation 54%, growth was very low, kicked out of international capital markets, domestic debt exchange, pensions couldn't be paid, people were very, very angry, and a lot of that led to the kicking out of MPP. Do you take some responsibility for that?
Okay, Bernard, you know, every government, usually, when you come in your first year, you tend to come out with policies, because most of the time we inherit economy where inflation is high. It's the same, with the previous government. In 2016, inflation was around 15.4. So you always want to come up with policies, that will bring down inflation, policies that will help increase economic growth. Because remember, in 2016, we inherited economy that grew by 3.6%. And then when we were living in 2024, the economy had grown by 5.7%. In the midst of the Ukraine-Russian war, in the midst of the COVID-19, the unprecedented health emergencies that turned into economic crisis. And so every term or every era and what really describes it. But let me say that in 2022, inflation was 54%. But then when we were living in 2024, we had reduced it by half to 23.8%. When we were living in 2024, we inherited a growth rate of 3.6%, but then we left 5.7%. When we were living in 2024, the GDP was 2016, the GDP was around 219 billion. We left a 1 trillion GDP. So for no reason can someone say that they inherited a mismanaged economy.
Well, I'm sure we can debate that for a long time, but I'm not sure we have.
It is not about debating it. It's the facts, and because as they claim that growth rate has gone up, inflation is coming down. What is it? It's the facts that they are telling you. And so you can't say that, you can't purport to believe one fact today, and then when someone says you want to disagree.
Well, there's so many different things
Yes.
people can use. For example, when you have a debt exchange and people's pensions that they genuinely paid to state-sanctioned entities have been encumbered by no fault of theirs. That is not, Bernard. That is not it. There's no excuse for that.
Let me say that
we didn't incur those debts.
The debt restructuring was one of the most painful but necessary exercise that we needed to take as a country. And even with that, the government made sure they secured pension funds and others who could, for one reason or another, could not sign on to the domestic debt exchange. It is true that the government entered into an arrangement with them, and the monies did not come in as and when we all agreed, but eventually they were paid.
People were given haircuts when the president said there was not going to be any haircut. Pensioners were picketing at the finance ministry for weeks, including a former CJ, asking for pensions to be exempt from the DDEP.
Nobody lost money on their principal. It is the interest. Nobody.
But the point was
lost money. Yes, like I'm saying, that it is not something
an arrangement
pleasant.
with the financial institution,
it is
and
not
then
something
they give you
pleasant.
how much you're going to earn, and then they come and tell you you're going to get a haircut, and the government doesn't even admit it. That's not just one. There's so many things.
I don't
the president
think so.
initially said there was no haircut, but there was a haircut.
I don't think there was no reduction on your principal. That is a fact.
But taking my interest is passport to a haircut. If I give a person 100 cedis, and I'm expecting both principal and interest,
yes,
you can't tell me that if you reduce my interest, you're not giving me a haircut.
I don't want to go back and forth over this. This is not something that we really wanted to do. But at that time, we felt that was the prudent way to safeguard the economy. Because one, our cedi had lost strength against our trading currencies. And because of that, it had ballooned the interest that we were paying on especially on our foreign debts. And so clearly we had to do something. We couldn't just sit idle and not do anything. Yes, it is something that it shouldn't even happen again. And
but,
so that is why we took the steps.
You see, what the question I was asking you was whether you want to admit part of the responsibility, because there are a litany of activities. For example, you mentioned growth rate, inflation.
Yeah.
You didn't mention the exchange rate. The exchange rates at the time you took over in 2016 was nowhere near the figure you left us with. When you left in 2024, the figure had gone.
No, but Bernard, you only talk about the exchange rate. Do you look at the quantum of development that we put in the last 8 years? Let's not just talk about...
As evidenced by what?
As evidenced by the Tamale interchange, as evidenced by the flyover, the Accra motorway, the Tema flyover, as evidenced by the various hospitals.
Your successor told me in an interview after the media budget, maybe you should play it.
Yeah.
He said, you guys took 750 million, I don't know whether it's dollars or cedis, to do about 4 roads. He said you spent only about 100 million on the roads. In fact, maybe you should air it so that it's not be me saying it.
So that
listen to Atu, then you can comment. This is Atu Fosu.
I'll listen and then I'll comment.
Yes,
just for clarity.
Yeah, so just wanted to talk about it generally. First of all, you took a loan from what do you call it? AfriExim, $750 million. You've paid $100 million. The rest of the money you've spent it.
Are you giving a hypothetical example? You are saying something?
No, I'm saying something for that particular.
So you are saying that this is Sawam Road?
Yes.
The loan was how much?
It was $750 million from AfriExim.
All for the road? And
it was supposed to be for that road, about 3-4 roads. That particular road, Kumasi, the former majority leader's constituency, Swami Runabout, and a number of them, I think about. And you were saying that is what you are using the money for, $750 million. Now, all these projects have not reached anywhere, but yet you finish the money. There's no money there. Finish.
How much were they paid?
So in the case of in Sawam 1, they paid about 100 and something million. I'm not too sure. 100 but it was slightly over $100 million.
So that's another example
Yes, that's another example. But Bernard, you know, these loans, we go to Parliament for them. So go and get the Hansard and check if it was only for the roads that we said we were going to use that 750 million for. There were other equally important things that we sought to use. You know, he said, I think. He wasn't even sure. He said, I think. There were other equally important things that we said we were going to use that 750 million for. It was not just for roads.
He also said he inherited 67 billion cedis in arrears.
Let's put it out there. It was not just for roads. There were other equally important. So I'm expecting him that clearly, if he feels for any reason the loans that we took was not used for what we said we were going to use it for. What
so
is he doing about
the
it?
750 was not just for those roads.
It was not just for roads. Pick the Hansard.
But was the contractor paid the full amount? Or the loan wasn't for just the road?
It was for other equally important, not just roads, but there were other expenditures.
So it was to be part payment for the road?
It was other expenditures, not just roads.
So it wasn't meant for full payment for the road?
Let me tell you that nobody pays a road in full because you cannot finish the construction of a road in one financial year.
Fair enough.
So they are multi-year contracts. So that in a particular year, you say, I'm going to use 100 billion because I know I'm going to work to the tune of 100 million. So nobody pays the full cost of a road in 1 year. Nobody does.
He also said that they had inherited arrears of 67 billion. They had audited some of the arrears. And at the time we did the interview, he said 3.5 billion had been disallowed. I think later on, his deputy said that the disallowed amount was much more. I mean, my point is that the successor government believes that you mismanage the economy terribly, and they don't think you have the moral right to be criticizing them. I remember when the president read the State of the Nation address, you slammed him and said that it was big promises, no plans.
When we also came in there was an arrears of 11 billion Ghana cedis. We had to send it to the Auditor General to validate. When the Auditor General validated, it came to 6 billion. So these things, let me tell you how it is. Usually when one government goes and another comes, people come with all sorts of, requests for payment that, they owed me this, they owed me that. So it is up to you.
So it's normal to do this audit?
It is very normal. We have seen it before. In 2016,
and you're saying it's not evidence of mismanagement?
It's in 2017, we saw it too. We got bills to the tune of 11-point-something billion Ghana cedis. And then we asked the Auditor General to validate it.
Fair enough.
Whooping 5 billion
was off
it. So 64 billion or 61 billion that he claims, they should validate it and come out with the correct figure. Because let me tell you, these are some of the things that people take advantage of, and then they put together.
But let's look at where the economy is now. Inflation is single digits, is now 8%. Currency exchange rates, now people are buying the dollar for 10.9. It's down from the 16. Economic growth is projected to hit around 6.3%. You have to admit that they are doing very well in the economic management.
Let me tell you, we have brought inflation down to 7.8% before. You understand? So, and I told you, in the first year of every government, go check Osafo Mafo, go check Kwabena Dufo, go check Setekwe. You will see that in their first year, what they seek to do is to bring inflation down, because usually they inherit an economy with very high inflation. It is good that, I mean, we put some measures in place, like we said. We put some measures in place that before leaving, we saw inflation coming down. We saw the economy grow to the tune of 1 trillion. And then we also brought our debt to GDP ratio down to 61%. Meanwhile, we inherited 72.5% in 2016. So clearly, they are fast forwarding, or yes, if I should put it that way, the reforms that we put in place. I am happy that they are going by those reforms, and that is what is yielding the results. But the most important thing is to sustain this to the end of beyond the IMF program. And that is where the fear is. That beyond the IMF program, have they put in buffers? Have they put in systems and strategies that will uphold or maintain whatever they have done? And for me, I'm happy with what they are doing. And I will say that the most important thing, the test will come after the IMF, and they have gone off the IMF program, and what they have put in place to sustain
may God give all of us life to see what will happen, and
I wish them well as well, because we all live in this economy.
We always want the government to do well.
They'll be able to sustain it.
Wonderful.
And make sure that the reason why they were brought into power, people will.
Thank you, Abena Osaya Sari, MP for Etiwa East, and the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee. It's been good talking to you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
We hope to see you soon. Maybe after budget, they will talk to you in Parliament. Thanks for watching tonight's edition of the show. It's a big Parliament week. We'll continue with our coverage. Don't forget, on Thursday, we bring you live coverage of the budget. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.